Hey, good morning, WellHouse Church. Pastor Cullen, excited to be back with you again for another story through the book of Acts. And one of the things I love about this is, you guys know, I am like a storytelling fanatic. I can't get enough about learning about storytelling and how it works and what purpose it serves and all of these things. And in any good story, you have a moment that happens early in the beginning that causes tension. Stories are built on tension. And whatever that moment is that causes tension in the beginning, you're waiting for a moment of proclamation. You're waiting for a moment that you can identify and go, this is the moment where it's about to change. Two examples of this I have for you. The Bible itself. Who wants to hear a story about how everything's great? There's an old philosophical question. If everything is great, is anything great? In the same way, we hear a story of how God makes beautiful creation to live with humanity for eternity. Great. But that's the end of the story if there's no tension. Genesis chapter 3 in the introduction of death into the world is the tension. And you're waiting for the moment of proclamation, which is found in Jesus when he stands in Luke chapter 4 and declares, I am anointed. The Spirit of the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor, to the oppressed, to liberate the captives. Another example I would have is I'm currently reading The Hate You Give. It's a fantastic book. I would recommend it to anyone that likes to read fiction. And I don't want to give the story away. There's a moment that happens in the very beginning that creates tension. And the entire rest of the movie is you are waiting for the main character to have her moment of proclamation. This is the fullness of storytelling. Tension, proclamation, and resolution. These are the three steps. And our story today in Acts is absolutely that moment of proclamation. You've got a great story happening. Now something has happened. Something has created tension. This babbling of all these people and everyone hearing in their own language. Now you've caught everybody's attention. There is something happening here. This is creating tension. And we're waiting for someone to step up and have their moment of proclamation of what is happening, what is about to happen. And Peter steps on scene, and of all the things he could have said, he has everyone's attention. Things like this don't happen regularly. So everyone here is attentively focused on exactly what Peter is about to say. Because they think they're all drunk. And Peter's like, no, we're not drunk. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning. And this is what he chooses to proclaim. His moment of proclamation. A climactic moment in the story of the book of Acts. This is what he chooses to say. No, this is what was spoken through the prophet Joel. In the last days, it will be, God declares, that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. Even upon my slaves, both men and women, in those days I will pour out my Spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show portents in the heaven above and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and smoky mist. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the Lord's great and glorious day. Then everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. If you want to know the gist of what Peter is saying, what's Peter's summation, what the punchline of his moment of proclamation is, it's a proclamation of inclusivity. Everything social stratosphere, socioeconomic, race, gender, class, free, slave, everything broken down in this one moment when he says, sons and daughters will prophesy. Slave and free, men and women. In those days, I will pour out my Spirit, and they shall prophesy. What are we prophesying to? The deeds of power found in Jesus. That's what they are hearing from the tongues. That's what they're hearing in their own language. It's God's deeds of power in Jesus. The rest of Peter's sermon goes on to root this story and what's happening in Jesus and takes it all the way back to David. And so what I want you to know is, of all the things that he could have said in this moment, he chose to make a proclamation of inclusivity. He says, all who call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. The message of the gospel is that there's no more insider versus outsider mentality. The exclusion is gone because there's room at the table for everyone. And so, if you're watching with us today, I want you to know that you are loved, that there's space for you at the table. And then, WellHouse, to the rest of us, I want to ask you, what can we do to be people who live our lives according to the proclamation of inclusivity?